So today we'll discuss about Citrix Director. Like Director is a monitoring solution from the like from the Citrix. So previously in the Zen app 6 and 6.5, we have Citrix Edge Site, Citrix Edge Site server we have. So that is used for the monitoring, and we need to install Citrix Edge Site agent need to be installed. But in the newer things, like we don't have the edge side server, 7.x, mostly we have the Citrix Director we have. So Citrix Director is one of the powerful monitoring and troubleshooting solution for the Citrix virtual apps and desktops. Okay, so now with the Citrix is a web-based monitoring and troubleshooting tool, or through the web console, we can we can get the metrics, alerts, all this, like which is used by the Citrix admins and help desk admins, mostly IT, SRE teams, help desk admins, all those they're going to get the real-time user session data, user sessions, session performance, and related to the virtual desktops and application data. Then we are going to get the historical usage and what are the failures happened, and we are going to get the missions health. All these, say we are getting from the Citrix Director, we are getting, say, which is a single dashboard. Most of the Citrix health related, monitoring related, alerts related, from the single dashboard Citrix administrators can get, and we can keep a track of whether our Citrix environment has been is running smoothly or not, whether the Citrix environment is running smoothly or not. Okay, so now we need to open mostly the director session we need to open, or from the Citrix director we can log in, and from that we can check the total sessions, failed logins, mission health, alerts, all these details. We are going to get that. Okay, so then mostly one of the common tasks we are going to check from the director is like uh, um, who is login and what is the session state, and check the mission names, bandwidth usage, and RTT is one of the metric, like round trip time. So these all the things we are going to check that. Okay, and even for the troubleshooting wise also, we are going to check the breakdown of authentication time, profile load time, GPO processing, drive mapping. So these all will help to resolve the latency kind of issues also in the Citrix environment. That if the complete duration is more than 30 seconds, we need to identify where exactly the problem, and even we need to troubleshoot those kind of latency issues also we are going to check. Okay, so then here we have the different Citrix components we have. So we have the storefront, which is the communication broker between users and the controller or internal components. And mostly the controller is the main component, which is going to brokering the sessions and managing the sessions. Then VDA is the agent which is going to deliver the desktops and apps to the users. And the director is for the monitoring and troubleshooting the sessions, and most of the administration console is like Citrix Studio. Citrix Studio. Okay. So Citrix Studio we are using for the administration kind of thing, and the director we are using for the monitoring and troubleshooting. Okay. So then here how the controller works, will get the more details also. So delivery controller will collect all the session data and performance data, and VDA sends that data to session metrics. Okay, so then that controller pushes the data to database also. So then director reads the data. Then we are going to send that through the GUI. We are going to get that. Say here we are using a separate database. So our Citrix site database is different. Configuration logging database is different. Monitoring database is different. So with this, the performance can be optimized by having the separate databases. And even when we are installing the databases also on that, for the director, monitoring database is the separate database, and for the configuration logging we'll have the separate database, and for all the site information, meta information, we are we are storing in the site information. Okay, so then all these information is going to write into the monitoring database. It is going to write. Okay, and on the director, like which is from the controller, will take the information is from the Citrix monitoring service. It is going to take the data. Okay, so that's a controller, like will collect all the data. Then monitoring service is going to be updating the data to database. To the database it is going to write. Then director will retrieve that data. Okay, so now we can see the real-time monitoring, session details. Okay, so these all we can get. And what is the meaning of RTT is round trip time. So I see a round trip time. Say normally the web-based applications we are going to get the response time. What is that meaning is if you type something in the browser, how much time it is taking to retrieve that data. So over the browser, how much time it is retrieving is called as round trip time. So now here in the ICA, like once user click on any of the application session that sends to that server, and server will send that response. So this response is called as ICA RTT, round trip time. So mostly we are going to get that monitoring information from the RTT. We are going to get that, and important metrics also will discuss. And even we can configure the SMTP kind of notifications also we are sending. That means if any of the alert happen, even from the from the portal also we can see, or from the alerts also we can see those kind of notifications. We can get that. We can send that notifications. And what is the meaning of shadow session is like that user, if you have any issue, help desk admin no need to, it's maybe a remote location, we no need to go that. That exact session kind of experience can be delivered by taking a shadow session of that user session where help desk admins can take the shadow session and they can troubleshoot also. So whenever the user sessions, we need to check that like latency, CPU, RAM usage. So these all the metrics from the VDA level, from the session level, we are going to check that. And even we can use with the Splunk kind of tools also, or we can integrate even with the other third-party logging also we can integrate. Then automatically we can integrate even with the ServiceNow Jira also. We can raise a ticket also. That's ServiceNow developers. Those will help us to perform this. Like using the APIs, they're going to send automatically a ticket also would be raised. Okay. So now the director is like a monitoring tool, and even for the troubleshooting, a single dashboard kind of thing. Okay, so where it helps the administrators to help this. In the Zenap 6 and 6.5, we have the Citrix Edge site server, but now with the director, these all very easy to manage. And coming to the port numbers, like mostly we are going to access the director console using 80 or 443, 80 without certificate, or if you have the TLS or SSL certificates, then we are going to use 443. Then like a director, like to delivery controller also DDC, that is also is going to happen using 80 or 443. Okay, mostly we are going to use and directed to Citrix monitoring service. This is going to use Windows remote management, WinRM it is using. Okay, so WinRM, the port number is 5985 5986. So from the uh, Citrix monitoring service, and from the Citrix, sorry, from the Windows RM, it is getting those all the details it is getting. And if you want to take that like a remote assistance, you want to take the session control, all those for the troubleshooting purpose. Say here we have the dynamic range of IPs. We can, yeah. So we can take that remote support also. We can take of that user session, and we can support as a help desk admins also can help support those also we can provide. Okay, and director to Active Directory, anyhow, it's LDAP port itself, and storefront directed to storefront for single sign-on also 443, and SQL Server default port always is 1433. So that is the default port of the SQL Server, but we can configure our own custom ports also. We can configure that. Okay, so then how the data is going to be collected? So director doesn't have any agent as of now. Like the controller is collecting all the session data, all those it is collecting. Okay, so then like based on the Citrix monitoring service, is storing the data into monitoring database. So by default, that data is not going to store in the Citrix database. Okay, so all this data has been stored in the monitoring database. Then from the director web UI will connect that monitoring database. From that, it is going to collect that data. It's going to collect that data. So suppose whenever the user log in to storefront, controller will broker, VDA will start that session. Okay, so then storefront is going to store all the authentication details. Controller will store the connection state, license usage, mission registration. All these details are going to store. VDA is going to be giving latency, login duration, all these like is going to send that metrics to controller because we may have some thousands of controllers. All these information is going to be sent to controller using telemetry. So telemetry is one of the metric kind of collections. All those traces, all those is collected by the telemetry, and it is going to send that into controller, and the controller stores that data into monitoring database. Then director will use that database. From that we are going to get, and most of the Citrix related information we are getting from the Citrix event framework, and on that VDA, CPU performance, those all Windows related information, like WMI is going to be responsible. Windows management instrumentation is one of the automation framework of the Microsoft to get that third party communication, to get that APIs, all that WMI is used. So now here, like all these traces on the VDA, like we are collecting and sending those traces or packets to controller. Okay, so these all like from all the VDAs, it is connecting. Okay, so then here even the ICA channel, like what are the virtual channels we have, what is the usage, their bandwidth, all those also we are getting. Okay, then like a Citrix monitoring service is running on the like on the controller. Then that controller is writing the data to monitoring database. It's going to write the data into monitoring database. Say we have the monitoring database is there. It's not a normal database. All the site information is going to be in the site database, and the configuration logging, all the administrative events are in the log database. But this is for the monitoring database. All the session missions related, user related, configuration tables. Like this, we have the different tables we have, these all are going to be managed. These all going to be managed by this. Okay. So all the session details, mission details, all these are going to be stored in that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then once the director reads the data from the delivery controllers, like from the director, it is connecting to the database. Okay. So then like it is going to retrieve those details. Okay. So now here like this the director is going to collect the data, and even we can integrate with any of the third party Splunk, these kind of tools also we can integrate. But most of the times Citrix users are using from the Citrix director itself we are going to get the data, but director is not writing any information into the database. Director only is going to write the data. Okay, even it will communicate with the AD also for the authentication purpose, all those with which user we are login. Okay, so now here depends upon how many days we are going to store the data is, like depends upon the license edition. If we have a premium or enterprise license, like mostly we are getting 365 historical data. Historical data we are going to get it from the from this from that old data also we can get. Mostly the data is going to be stored for 365 days, we are going to get that. Okay, so now who previously there is an edge site agent that need to be installed in all the control Gen app servers or VDAs that used to collect the data. But now in the newer architecture, we no need to install those. Okay, controller itself is collecting all the data. Okay, which is reducing the load on the director. Okay, so that's controllers itself are distributing those. So then these all we require the knowledge, but very important is we should able to tell what are the metrics every day we are going to collect. So what are the metrics we are going to collect? Okay, so that's we need to check every day once you log into that environment. In our shift, we are responsible to verify these metrics, and if any of the alerts have been came from that director, either we can send a SMTP notification or we need to monitor those. So some of the important metrics we have is the metrics related to failed logins. Say suppose maybe failed logins related to AD authentication or with the storefront issues. Okay, so mostly less than 2%. That means if you have 100 members, 2% of these issues would be coming, and mostly the people are keep on complaining related to like ICA sessions with latency. Users are not calling the word latency. They have some slowness in their applications. That's also we need to troubleshoot, which directly impacts that user experience also. And ICA RTT, mostly will have the SLAs within that number itself. We need to keep maintain that, and at the end of the week or maybe month, year, we need to give these reports also to the client. And mostly ICA RTT should be less than 200 milliseconds. We should have. Okay, say 200 milliseconds we should have, and the delivery group availability of missions also, those 100% of the VDS, no mission should be unregistered state. So this is also one of the metric, and VDA mission registered state also, and log on duration average, license usage, connection failures, and any of the server load index. Okay, so that's related to CPU, memory, app crashes, and idle sessions, profile load time. Okay, so these all the things we are going to get that. So what are the metrics? Important metrics are failed sessions, average logon duration, sessions with latency. These all we are going to get that. Okay, then in the dashboards even we can check the connection failure, session failures, then mission failures also we can check those. Okay, so then which of the desktops are in unregistered state, or if the load is overloaded, and if any of the missions or desktop groups has been kept in the maintenance mode, so those also. And for the live sessions, if that user is complaining some latency kind of things, we need to check that CPU usage, memory usage, bandwidth, packet loss kind of things also we need to check. Okay, so there it should be less than 200 milliseconds itself. Okay, so then even if the user is connecting and is telling latency or slow performance of the applications, we need to check that group policy processing, how much time it is taking to load the profile, and any logon scripts are there. Okay, interactive session profile may be corrupted. So these all are very, very important in order to troubleshoot slowness kind of issues. Mostly in the interview, sessions are connecting, but user is complaining like session performance is degraded. Then we need to check these issues which are related to GPO processing, profile load, script execution. Okay, any of the user profile has been corrupted. Okay, and even we can monitor the trending of the licenses also. So those information also, that license usage trending also we can get that. So we can verify the concurrent or user device license usage, or maybe gateway license, and before expiration we can get the alerts also. So because license is expiring within 30 days, this information we can get from the license console also. But dashboard is a single point of dashboard console we can see.
Yeah, Shrikant, very good morning. This is Dilip.
Yeah, yeah, Dilip.
I have one small query actually.
Yeah, please tell me.
See, for next April 26, I think there is some notification from Citrix to move on-prem Citrix servers to cloud service, LAS, license activation service.
Only for LAS only, or
Only LAS,
okay,
whatever the on-prem license server is there, right?
okay. That's need to report to only to. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'll
Can you
check
please
that.
help with
I'll
that little bit?
sure. I'll check that one.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay, so now here we are discussing the metrics related to the directory. Okay, so some important metrics every day we need to configure, and for the important metrics we are configuring those alerts also. We are getting alerts also. We are getting those, and every day we need to check this checklist also. Once you go to the office, we need to have a checklist of these all the monitoring information also. That's maybe L1 guy, L2 guy, SREs, everyone also need to verify this checklist. We need to verify. Okay, so what are the failed logins we have, session failures, mostly even from the previous shift also, we whenever that shift engineer is handovering those, so these information also he will share. From those also we need to work, and even we need to also start what's happening on that existing shift also. Okay, so which are related to ICA latency, resource usage, unregistered VDAs, license usage, and mostly like we would be getting the issues related to slow logins, app failures, resource bottlenecks. Those are little challenge, and we need to identify that exact use root cause for that particular user. We need to check that. Means every day, like 10 to 15 minutes, we need to tell these all the things we are going to observe. So these all the things we are going to observe, which are related to like maybe failed logins or session failures, because those are important. And even once we deliver those, also we have the latency and more resource usage is there, and unregistered VDAs or license usage is exceeding 80% kind of usage kind of things, and slow logins, app failures, resource bottlenecks. So these all every day 10 to 15 minutes we are getting, and mostly weekly. Say delivery group usage trends, application usage, how many usage, application licensing also, we need to decide based on that, and how many times the profile has been corrupted. Okay, session duration trends, at the peak moment, what is the load. So based on these metrics, we need to inform to the management also. We require more infrastructure related to the VDAs or maybe controllers, storefront. So these also we need to inform. If to keep on more burden on the servers, that's not a good practice. We may need to increase the infrastructure also. So these all, like even the management also would be asking, and we also need to suggest the things from those. And mostly we are going to configure SMTP kind of details also. By enabling the SMTP notifications, we are going to get that like VDA, like a related unregistered is happen, or if any latency is spiked, or logon duration spike is increased. So definitely we need to observe these all. Okay, so these all like if have a initial alert itself is there, then after getting the actual issue, instead of resolving that before itself, we can resolve those. Okay, so that's first we need to check the failed logins, then connection failures, ICA latency, average logon duration, registration status, delivery group availability, license usage, mission load index, CPU usage. In the mission load index itself, we are getting CPU and RAM usage per mission also. Then bandwidth usage per session, ICA packet loss, network latency, okay, say then HDX throughput and frame rate, input delay, okay, so these all like will affect the session performance also. So suppose it's mandatory question, like if the users are complaining why they have the sessions like latency, like we need to check all these metrics. Okay, so from the director we need to tell like what is the like a bandwidth per usage, CPU, memory kind of metrics, any I say a packet loss is there, then network latency, throughput, input delay, GPO processing time, profile load time, login script execution time, interactive session time. Okay, these all. After that, one particular application having the issue. One particular application having the issue, we have the app crashes. So these one particular application on one particular VDA we may have the issue. That means other applications on the other VDAs are working, or same application and other VDAs are working, but some set of users on one VDA server, they are getting the issue with that one application or some applications in those videos. Okay, so that's purely application patching issue, or server issue, server patching issue, or like maybe resource constraint on that server. So these all may be causing the problem, or misconfiguration of that application. Okay, so these all like maybe that application is crashing. Okay, so versioning, compatibility, these also may be the causes. So here mostly we are getting these metrics. From this we need to isolate the issue where exactly we have the problem, and based on that we need to we need to troubleshoot those issues. Okay, so mostly we need to troubleshoot. So from that we need to troubleshoot those. Okay, and even from the session wise also, like what are the long running sessions, unnecessary license usage, we need to confirm whether those are in the usage, or otherwise our resources are getting wasted. Then disconnected session count, concurrency session count. So these all the at least some metrics, these all the things we are going to verify every day. So like this we need to tell. And even if there is a slowness at the application level, these all the things we are going to verify. So this these metrics from the first place, mostly for the troubleshooting, we need to tell, like for the L1 guys and for L2 guys, mostly the director itself is the first place, and everyone will have their own access on those, because it's not going to write any data into that, or we are not performing any operations. Mostly we are using like to retrieve the data, and for the troubleshooting, for diagnosing, we are using the director. Okay, so then here we have this hypervisor host load. So these all the different metrics, database health, and even like reporting failures. Even will troubleshoot if the director is not able to retrieve the data. So mostly we need to check that. So now here very important is like failed logins, connection failures, ICA latency, like RTT is the main metric, average logon duration, VDA registration status, delivery group availability, license usage, then mission CPU RAM load, then app launch failures, profile load time. So these all we are going to check that. Okay, so even monthly, yearly reports also we need to send. Okay, so then what is that RTT is? Round trip time. Like whenever the user clicks on that application session, that sends to that VDA and VDA will respond that and that session screen need to be delivered to the user. So for the update back, so that is like a RTT. If it is less than 200 milliseconds, then there is no issue, but we need to make sure less than 200 milliseconds itself. And if there is more than 300 milliseconds, then definitely user is going to raise a ticket, or maybe he may inform also like he is facing some latency over the application. If it is more than 500 milliseconds, then mostly the session is going to be disconnected or user is not able to use that session. Okay, so then like who is the user is complaining. Okay, so for that user, like maybe with the AD user, we need to search and need to open and need to check that ICC, RTT, connection time, ideal time, client IP, VDA mission name. Okay, on that VDA also, like we need to check that CPU, RAM, how many users are connected, is only for one particular user. If it is a one particular user, that's maybe related to his profile. What is that profile time? What are the logon scripts that user has? Okay, so those all we need to check this. Okay, so from the server side, CPU, memory, IOPS. If it is a graphical related GPU also, is more important. And even network also we need to check that any network latency is there, packet loss, bandwidth, okay, say jitter. So these all we need to check that. Okay, so if that network latency is like high but ICA is more, then that CPU, memory, storage may be issue. If packet loss is there, like maybe network related issue we have, or maybe Wi-Fi while roaming that user is facing some latency kind of things. If jitter is more, like maybe unstable connection or internet issue maybe there that user may have. Okay, so then say here we need to, if more users have more like a same RTT, that means high RTT they have, then that's maybe our issue at the infrastructure level. Okay, if it is only for one particular user, that particular user profile or maybe that group policies or what is that load time, these all we need to check that. Okay, so then if that is the VDA infrastructure side, we need to check that at the hosting level, at the VMware or Gen server level, that usage, VM level, what are the resources have been there to the VM, then VM networking, storage, how much IOPS we have, patching. Okay, so then like we may need to check that profile related, all those we need to check. If the particular user is there, then user connections. Okay, so those we need to isolate. So that means that the issue is very generalized kind of thing. Initially, we need to isolate that issue and need to identify the exact root cause. What exactly the root cause? We need to identify. Okay, so most of the users are complaining at the normal time it is fine, but in the peak loads they're facing some latency kind of things. Okay, so definitely that is also the capacity wise we have the less resources we have. Okay, so that's we need to check that at that moment what is the CPU usage. So if you are confirm like getting these kind of metrics, definitely we need to escalate to management also. We may need to increase our infrastructure. Okay, so we may need to increase the infrastructure level also. We may need to increase like we need to increase the more controllers, more VDAs. more hypervisor level, IOPS, storage. Okay, so all those also network, all these also we need to increase. And even if we have the shortage of the licenses, we need to increase the licensing also, we need to increase. Okay, so then here for the high RTT, okay, so we need to check that VDA performance, network, then whether the remote users we have, then for the remote users, and like user internet may be slow, packet loss, then VDA CPU usage, RAM usage, disk latency, host is overloaded, license at limit. Okay, so these all, like we need to check that. And even we can configure the alerts also. So mostly we are using a SMTP kind of server details, or maybe with the AD or Exchange server. Okay, so we are going to configure the alerts also. From the director, we can configure the alerts based on the queries or metrics wise. We are going to give the conditions, and if that condition met, we are going to send an email notification also, maybe to the group or to the lead we are going to send. Okay, so now here we need in the settings, we need to configure our email server. We need to set up our SMTP server details, port details, then SSL if we want to use, username, password, and from address to whom we need to send that alerts also. Then in the alerts, like we are going to create a notification policy, and in that we need to specify alert type. Say suppose if the ICRTT is more than this percentage of 200 milliseconds, I want to send a notification. Our CPU is reaches on the VDA 85%, disk is 75%, license usage exceeded 85%. Like this here, for the metrics, important metrics, we are keeping the value of that, and we are keeping a condition, and if that reaches, then that alert is going to be triggered. Okay, so immediately when the threshold is uh, crossed, we are going to send that alert is going to be sending, and we are going to get that email we are going to send. Okay, so that's email we are going to send that. Okay, so that's like maybe to the email or from the dashboard, also from the alerts dashboard in that from the directory itself. These all the number of alerts we have, and if any alert is there, definitely there would be SLA within that time itself. We need to report that alerts also. Okay, so these all, like we need to perform either from the dashboard we can see, or from alerts tab. Okay, so we can edit our thresholds and email settings from the alert policies, and even it will send an email also to the concerned team also regarding that. Okay, we need to give very important to the alerts, and mostly from that home dashboard also, we would be continuously checking those alerts which are triggering. Okay, and we can configure the warning kind of critical kind of information, these kind of alerts also we are using. And while giving, don't give the single email. If that person is in the leave, we may be missing. That's the reason we would be using a distribution list to all, like it's going to send that alerts. With that, we are not going to miss that alert. So these all related to alerts SMTP. These alerts are not coming means we need to troubleshoot those. So then one of the question people may ask us is, we have configured the director, but recently director is not getting those data. Okay, so something has been broken. So that data we are not going to collect that data. Okay, so then we need to check that like maybe database connection, maybe uh, like if the database connection is failure, Okay, that's maybe uh, controller is not able to post to database, or director may be not able to retrieve from the database. Mostly these would be the issues. We need to check that database connections, and maybe monitoring service on that on the controller is responsible to write that data to database. That's maybe too loaded. We need to check that monitoring service is not started, then we don't get the data from the controller. Okay, so we are not able to get that data from the controller, or maybe that database is not accessible, that server data is not accessible. Okay, permissions are missing, some schema may be corrupted. Okay, so these all we need to check that. Maybe DB is full, or SQL service is not running, Citrix monitoring is running. Okay, so DB is corrupted, or permissions we don't have to write that. Okay, so these all we need to check that. Then like on the VDA also, because all the VDAs need to send that metrics, open that, so using the telemetry, it is sending those. Okay, if the missions are in unregistered kind of state, okay, so that's maybe VDA service restart once. Okay, so check the logs also, any WMI, because to the remote mission to give that Windows kind of metrics, all these we are using WMI service from the Windows management instrumentation. So that's going to give or communicate with the remote missions kind of thing. Okay, so that's WMI is giving that VDA, CPU, memory, disk IOPS, all this information it is pushing to director. If that WMI service also need to running. Okay, then from the controller like Citrix monitoring, that communication also may be missing. So with the AD we may have issues, and even time synchronization also. So director is in separate, or controllers these any of the drift of more than 5 minutes, that is also maybe causing. And if you have using the SSL kind of certificates, those certificates have been expired also, on the DDC wise will cause. And license usage on that also, like maybe if that license usage exceeded 30 days kind of things, then we are going to mismatch. Okay, and definitely DDC and director anyhow we are installing from this. Sometimes we may have some mismatch. Mostly this is purely with the like database or WMI, or like a schema related user permissions with the AD kind of things, or more too much load on the controller maybe, is a database also more load, or DB may be full, we don't have disk space on that. These kind of issues we may need to troubleshoot. Okay, so like this we need to troubleshoot, and even that port numbers of 8443, those firewall rules also, so we need to set up. Okay, so these all the things we need to troubleshoot. And i- like mostly what are the metrics every day we need to monitor? So can you tell some of the metrics every day where we need to monitor those? So mostly related to like a failed logins is one of the monitorings we are going to get those login failure count. So login failure count is nothing but those are the connection failures which are related to authentication failures, VDA is not reachable, licensing issue, delivery controller issue. Then we'll have the login duration, how the user experience would be. What is the average login time, then profile load time, GPO time, then HD essentialization, all these. Then user latency related, like it should be less than 200 seconds. If it is 200 to 250 milliseconds, it's slow. Very bad is 500 milliseconds. Then the session is going to be disconnected. Then registration, unregistered missions, registration failures, VDA service is stopped. So these kind of network or DNS errors. Server side also we are getting VDA side like CPU, RAM. Mostly we are keeping 80% to 85%. And disk latency also like it should be less than 20 milliseconds. And we are collecting those app server related file shares, permissions, those also we are checking. And even licensing wise, we need to check the peak licensing usage, license count, so these all. And active sessions, failed sessions also we are checking. Okay. Then delivery group level also, how many missions are available, power state, session limits. Then hypervisor level, we are checking those. Uh, but even from the vCenter or from Gen Center also, we need to troubleshoot those. Or if you have any VM level monitoring is there also, from those also we are going to check that. Okay, so if it comes to daily kind of metrics, what we are going to collect is so mostly we are getting related to login failures. Okay, so then logon duration, ICA round trip time, VDA registration, then load like CPU, memory, then app failures, then license usage, sessions summary, then disk IOPS, then delivery groups. So mostly we are going to get these details. And every day, maybe like at the end of the shift, like we may need to give total active sessions, total failed sessions, average logon duration, and the highest ICA RTT users, unregistered mission count. Okay, top five highest CPU, RAM, license consumption summary, issues observed. So these kind of report also we may need to generate. Okay, so generate related to active sessions or failed logins, average logon duration. These all we need to troubleshoot. Okay, so here mostly how to troubleshoot those from the director level, like slow logons. Say here slow logins. We need to check that. Say for the slow logins, like maybe from the storefront brokering, authentication, profile load, GPO processing, logon scripts, session initialization. Then on that session also CPU, memory. So those all coming into the picture. Okay, so those all we are going to get into this like we are going to get that. Okay, so now here we need to uh, uh, in the director that session details. We are going to get the logon duration would be there on the sessions. We are going to see the brokering, start time, authentication, profile load, group policy processing, logon scripts. Okay, HDX connection, all those we will get in that user particular session. We are getting all these details. Say suppose whenever we go to that particular user session, okay, on the session details, we are going to see those in the logon duration. We can see those in that particular user session related. So we can see the brokering details. Then we are going to get the VM started time. Then some of the missions maybe will have the power management. At that moment those are getting started, but if you have the idle pool settings, power management would be done before itself the session is power on. Then authentication, then we have the profile load, GPO processing, how much time it is taken, and logon scripts. Then we have the interactive session, then HDX connections. Okay, so which is having more, that's maybe the bottleneck. Okay, so we need to check that brokering time mostly it would be less than 5 seconds. Okay, it should be less than 5 seconds. And before itself, we need to check that power on should be done for those missions. Authentication also should be 2 seconds itself. So 2 to 3 seconds itself, authentication should be done. And before itself, better to make sure the idle pool settings and the profile load should be within 5 to 10 seconds. That profile need to load. Then group policies also, if it is taking more than 10 seconds, then the group policy is also having the issues. Logon scripts also, it shouldn't take more time. Okay, HDX initialization time. So these all we need to check that. Then on the server side, we need to check the CPU, memory, and if the profiles are stored, that file shares, then GP results, any of the profile may be corrupted. Okay, so these all. And we need to compare even from the director, is it particular to one user, or for all the users we are getting, or for all the delivery group users we are getting, or for the complete site we are getting. So these all we need to check that. Or in the peak loads only we are getting. Okay, any recent changes after the changes these are getting. So these all we need to perform. Okay, so from that we need to troubleshoot these issues. Okay, so mostly these all the things we need to check from that director. I'll share the document also. So you prepare every day. These all the things we are getting. If that slowness or performance, these all the metrics we are going to get. These all the alerts we are going to send. Okay, so those we are going to tell in the interview wise also.
Can you talk about the profile reset as well?
Profile reset director won't do. Once
But
you
there is a
identify the
feature.
issue,
There is a feature we can reset the profile from the
yes,
director.
from director profile reset, we can we can
Yes.
we can get those metrics because that depends upon the permission level the user will have. Say if if you reset that profile, uh, like uh, from the UPM or from the FS logics, we need to use.
Um,
That's
Either
not
or
from the
or either.
UPM. If you are using, then that user should have the permissions. For the FS logics, it won't work. If you are using only Citrix, UPM is there, from the director we can manage. But if you are using FS logics, it won't reset the profile. And that user also, like with the which user we have logged into the director, that user also should have the permissions to do that. For L1 guys, for them, we are not directly giving to reset that profile.
Yeah, yeah. For L1 may
Yeah,
not
for
have
those we
it
are not
because
giving, but
yeah,
it's
but for
only for
L2,
the
L3,
UPM we are giving that. Reset profile only for Citrix UPM it works.
okay. So
Right.
how big should be the profile to reset? Because it shows there, like I think
No, no. While
the
choosing
the size of
that
the
reset profile, it's deleting the complete UPM folder. It is getting deleted.
And then recreate in the
Yes, it
next
will
login, right?
recreate. Yes, it's all
But
the
my point, but how big should be the because it's like the profile growing over the time, log in, log out, opening different application. My point is how big should be to decide
no, it's not
to
decided
reset.
based on the size. It's if any of the profile is corrupted, we are doing this. So not
How
based on the
should
size. That is user profile like maybe the crashed or maybe like a user is not data. So even in the some of the like users, we can have 10 GB of the profiles also. They are going to take care. Okay, but
that's
here like
yeah, I agree.
if the profile is corrupted or no, we are going to get those metrics we are getting right from the profile related we are getting user is at the in session time or profile load is not loading. So here we have this metric, right? Profile load after authentication, like profile from the logs we are getting or from the director we are getting, that profile is not getting loaded, or sometimes user may be getting black screen or like very slow login times, and user is getting maybe a temporary profile is getting. Okay, so whenever you go to user session logon duration, okay, so we are checking if the profile load time is more time, okay, and if profile is load is not happening, then we are going to perform this. And directly we don't reset, we'll go to UPM, and UPM logs also we are going to check that particular user like maybe we'll see the logs related to profile load is failed or NT user dot data that is corrupted. Okay, and maybe to copy the profile folders. Based on that we are going to perform, even event logs also will check that with the some of the event IDs we will be getting these profile corruptions or profile load failures, and a temporary profile has been assigned. By confirming all this, whenever the user is login with the temporary profile and the changes are not saving, then we'll perform that reset. Directly we don't reset from the director itself.
Okay, thank
Okay, size, we may need to check the size also is one of the issue. Okay, so we may need to we may need to give the exclusions, all those we need to take care to reduce the size. Means all the directories, folders, all those we are not going to use. So with this we are going to exclude those sizes we are going to exclude. Okay, so from this even the remote session also, like we can the user can take the session. Okay, so that's we are going to take the sessions from remote support wise also we can take. But that's we need to give the policies also. We have for all the users we may not take the remote support because he may have his sensitive details also we may have. So that depends upon the user's policies. We are going to control. Okay, that means we can take the remote control also from the director of that particular user session, and we can take a shadow session of that. So in that we can choose either view only, or we can take the full control also. Okay, then user is going to get a notification also, because user may have some sensitive details and we don't want, we can't see, we don't want to see that kind of information, or user don't want to share that, then he will close all those, only which we want to give. That is the reason whenever you want to take the remote shadow session, then that particular user also will get a pop-up. Administrator want to take the shadow of your session, allow or deny. Okay, and that should be enabled even in the profile also, in the policies. Like we need to enable that shadowing should be enabled or not. Okay, so with that we can take that sessions. So for that remote assistance we are going to use. Okay, so that's unnecessarily we shouldn't take, because user maybe complaints also if you are trying to take the sessions unnecessarily. Maybe before you inform to the user you are going to take the session, and with that approval better to send a request to them also. And for the sensitive users also is not recommended to take the shadowing, or not allow the shadowing also through the policies. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure.
So can you send the PowerShell
Yes,
session
that video
video?
I'll send it today. Today I'll upload both.
Appreciate it.
Okay. This document also I'll share it.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.